gentlemen, and disappointments. We are coming to you live from the Women Caves in New York and Connecticut. My name is Leslie.
And my name is Melissa.
And we are Verbally Disastrous. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Verbally Disastrous podcast. Your host for this episode is Leslie Jasper. Now, I know I brought up a touchy topic last week. I brought on two women to speak on their choice to not have children. I like to look at different sides of the coin. Today, I'm going to discuss my review on the subject of feminism and the unexpected exploration of the men's rights movement. I stumbled upon a Tedx Talk speaking event where a woman by the name of Cassie Jaye of Japer Productions was discussing her initial attempt to explore and expose the men's rights movement back in 2013. If you want to check out the video for yourself, look for the video entitled Meeting the Enemy by Cassie Jaye on Tedx Talk on YouTube. Cassie was doing legwork via exploring and documenting on the subject of men's rights. Prior to Cassie's choice to work on this film project, it is rather fair to call her an active, staunch feminist. Cassie was involved in a number of feminist movement-related documentaries. The initial objective was to dig up as much dirt on the misogynists as possible. Cassie saw the documenting of the men's rights movement as it was never yet attempted as a groundbreaking project. However, as she started filming and transcribing over 100 hours of video footage, she started to hear stories and the plight of the different men that she had encountered. She started realizing that women are not the only group with major issues that were in need of a solution. Cassie started thinking about men's issues that evolved her way of viewing the world and both genders as a whole. Now, here is a quote from Cassie that came as a result of editing hours of footage of men for her documentary. "No one will ever listen to you more than someone who transcribes your words." Cassie started interviewing and listening to the men she was video documenting. She felt her initial knee-jerk reactions to certain statements weren't really warranted. She listened and cringed at an often key phrase used, "Just look around the skyscrapers and bridges that men built." She asked herself if that phrase was considered anti-woman. She then thought of a feminist rebuttal. "Just look around. Everyone you see was birthed by a woman." Over time, she started to believe that her feminist views and feelings of being offended could not hold up to intense scrutiny. She started to feel that the statements that were made by both sides demonstrates the unique contributions brought by both sides. Cassie started to build a more open mindset via listening to the men's issues in a manner that doesn't take anything away from the issues that women face. Over time, Cassie had realized that her diary had served as proof that her views started evolving. Initially, she was adding on statements that she thought she had assumed were to follow the topic. These were comments that she strongly thought that the men wanted to say, but was withheld at the time. Over time, she listened even more and thought about the things men actually lost as a result of various false accusations. Men that were falsely accused of rape were then cleared of charges have permanently lost things such as college scholarships, job opportunities, or access to their children. She then spoke about how the subject of rape is a woman's issue. After a while of trying to control the narrative and define the proper, quote, victim, Cassie realized that it just became a pissing contest between genders. One must ask yourself, what purpose does this serve? Who benefits from the gender competition? Many will say it is hard to make men a victim when they are perceived as holding all the power in society. No matter who brings the issue, it all adds to the discussion of gender equality. She was hoping that through the discussion of different viewpoints, it would bring people onto a higher conscious level on the subject of gender equality. Cassie discovered, upon the release of her 2016 documentary on men's rights, how the media plays their role in groupthink on gender politics. Her documentary worked to humanize the men known as the, quote, enemy, who offered input in the film. During the process of the humanizing of an opposing group, Cassie discovered that she was being dehumanized by her own community. Unbeknownst to her, both Cassie and her documentary became the target of various smear campaigns post-release. As a result of this experience, Cassie no longer calls herself a feminist. For the sake of clarity, she doesn't consider herself a anti-feminist either. Cassie's ears are open to the plights of both men and women on various issues throughout society. It appears that she learned a powerful lesson on her journey. Boy, did she. A lesson that she didn't see coming. Those are the best kinds of lessons. Now, here are some of the takeaway lessons learned from the video. 1. Listen to your thoughts of others. You may hear something that evolves your thought process. 2. According to the media, one must pick a group and think along their group's ideology. 3. The media does not benefit from peace. They benefit from drama and conflict. 4. The media has a powerful hand at influencing people to think guilty as opposed to innocent. 5. When you humanize your enemy, you unravel yourself and become a target of scrutiny. 6. There is much power when you stand up and accuse a person of a crime. Use honestly and wisely. 7. False allegations have powerful impacts that can last for the rest of a person's life. 8. When a person attempts to listen to both sides, there are many who will target you for that. 9. No one will ever listen to you more than someone who transcribes your words. 10. Taking time to listen to opposing views is not a popular idea in society. Number 11. Invite all voices to the table to discuss gender equality issues and develop solutions. Number 12. Stop expecting to be offended by opposing sides. And number 13. Any form of change starts with listening. Now, as a person who loves to listen to opposing views and understand them, this video was highly appreciated. I have realized that the listening quality is rare and not encouraged by society. I had felt this prior to listening to Cassie's story. Her journey just reinforces that theory, unfortunately. We are all lumped into categories that we do not necessarily agree with all terms of the group. I was just having a chat today with my co-host about belonging to the feminist group. We would like to think our way of being belongs to a group labeled as independent. Melissa and I would like to believe that we are not members of the feminist group. However, our choices to blaze our own trails and become strong, independent career women seems to put us in the group. She and I just wanted to survive, so we made our own path and see nothing wrong with it. She and I do not feel oppressed with the wage gap myth. We both strongly believe that people should be held accountable and responsible for their own actions. Melissa and I like men and are not into bashing them at all. I actually have a bias and I gravitate towards men more than I do women. We see men's behaviors for what they are and move accordingly. Sadly, we both believe that men of today are not the men of generations before. We feel that men have gained more feminine qualities somehow. Men are not made of the grit and determination that we deem acceptable. How did that happen? We know of many male role models of previous generations who took charge, worked hard, and were responsible for their families. Nowadays, it is not uncommon for 20s to 30s aged men to be living at home, playing video games with no purpose, and running away from various responsibilities. Did the school system strip away masculine qualities and force upon a softer, more feminine energy? Did the school system strip away masculine qualities and force upon a softer, more feminine ideology? Has society taken away a man's incentive to start a family via unfair rulings in a courthouse? What happened to our men? All kids receiving participation trophies did not help our young boys and girls at all. I agree with many of Cassie's Tedx Talk talking points. I believe that both sides need to listen and come together to heal and evolve with the overall societal mindset. How does that happen? There is nothing to be gained by being a victim. There is nothing to be gained by creating an enemy. There is nothing to be gained by continuing to feed the ideology of the theoretical enemy. The only thing to be gained is figuring out the root cause and working to resolve it. I thought this filmmaker walked in as a feminist and walked away with a different point of view. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to think against the herd. For that, I give her much respect. The premise of her documentary changed dramatically. I am sorry for her that she received a tsunami of pushback on her documentary. I'm glad that Cassie has an open mind and was able to see the different sides of the coin. I really appreciate people who follow logic and not allow their emotions to take over. I will continue to sift for more stories of people who go against the mainstream way of thinking. I admit that I have not carved out time to watch her documentary. In this day and age, there are so many films to watch. I often have sensory overload with all of the choices. Well, what are your thoughts on this podcast episode? Do you agree with Cassie Jaye or disagree? At the very least, no matter what side of the aisle, this will make you at least think about the subject matter. If so, my mission has been accomplished. If you wish to leave a comment, head over to my blog at www.constructiontales.com and leave a comment. Wherever you are in the globe, I wish you a great evening and a fantastic work week. Peace out, Cub Scout. This wraps up another episode on the Verbally Disastrous podcast that can be found on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. For more information, head over to www.constructiontales.com. Thank you for listening, and have a great one.